Hello and welcome to TrainSignal. You're watching Introduction to Fast Track CBT Video, Linux Networking and Administration. My name is David Davis and I'll be your TrainSignal instructor. I've been in the IT industry for about 12 years, and in that time I've had a lot of Unix and Linux experience. I've administered 1,000+ user Unix server and its associated servers. I've also obtained a Linux Plus certification and become an IBM AIX certified professional. AIX, by the way, is a type of Unix. I've also obtained a number of other certifications. So let's talk about TrainSignal. Now, the TrainSignal difference is that TrainSignal provides hands-on, real-world training. TrainSignal uses the scenario-based approach to demonstrate hands-on experience on real-world tasks demonstrated on real Linux servers. For example, in this video series we'll show you how to share files between a Linux server and a Windows client. We'll show you how to use a Linux server as a DHCP server for Windows clients or a DNS server for Windows clients. We'll show you how to use Linux as a web server for any client and an FTP server. Besides gaining experience on Linux using hands-on real-world tasks, you'll also be prepared for a Linux certification because you'll obtain a thorough understanding of Linux. So why Linux? Why is Linux important? Well, Linux has so many uses. You can use Linux, as I said, for a web server, FTP server, DNS server, DHCP server, file sharing server. There's so many different applications for Linux. You can download thousands of applications available for Linux, and many times those applications are even free. Now, Linux, the operating system itself, many times is free or comes at a very affordable price tag when compared to other competing operating systems like Windows. Linux is also continuing to gain market share over the Windows operating system, especially in the server marketplace. Now, it doesn't have a very significant or very large market share at this point, but it does continue to gain acceptance and support. One of the benefits of Linux is that it's stable. Linux doesn't crash as much as maybe Windows does. It seems to be more reliable in general. Plus, Linux is more secure than some other operating systems just right out of the box. So what will we learn in this video series? In video 1, we'll have an introduction to Linux, the different Linux versions that are available, different Linux distributions that you can obtain. In video 2, we'll talk about the different Linux certifications that are available and what it takes to pass each of the different certification tests. In video 3, we'll install Linux on our new Linux server. In video 4 and 5, you'll learn about how to use Linux, how to get around, how to do various tasks. In video 6, we'll set up Linux users and groups. In videos 7 through 9, you'll learn what it takes to administer a Linux server. In video 10, you'll learn about the Linux file systems and storage management. In video 11, we'll talk about Linux package installation and system backups. Then we'll go on and talk about networking in Linux, installing and administering Linux OpenOffice, Samba server, Apache web server, DHCP and DNS, and FTP server. In video 19, you'll learn how to secure a Linux server. In video 20, we'll talk about administering hardware in Linux. And in video 21, we'll talk about reporting, troubleshooting, and performance monitoring in Linux. And of course, there will be a bonus video with some important Linux tips and tricks. So let's move on and talk about our scenario. In our scenario, you'll be working for the Big Sky Fishing Supply Company. They're in Bozeman, Montana, and they sell fishing supplies. For example, they sell rods, reels, and anything else related to fishing through their retail locations and through their e-commerce website. They're also a wholesaler to many different fishing stores and other retail outlets around the country. Now, Big Sky Fishing Supply is converting their retail outlet in Bozeman, Montana to Linux. They will use Linux for the following services: file sharing, web serving, FTP, DHCP, and DNS. This will be a pilot test of the Linux operating system for the Big Sky Fishing supply. If this test is successful, they plan to convert all retail locations, the corporate office, and their e-commerce web servers to Linux. They could save thousands of dollars in licensing fees and maintenance by doing this. Because of the potential cost savings and the high profile of this pilot, the CIO considers this Linux implementation to be very critical. Now, as a contractor, you are solely responsible for implementing the new Big Sky Fishing Supply Linux server implementation. During this process, you will start with installing a new Linux server. From there, you'll install, configure, and test a variety of critical Linux infrastructure applications. You'll have a Windows client that you use for testing. So that's our scenario, and we've reached the end of the introduction video. So in conclusion, in this video, we're going to learn a lot about Linux. You'll learn not only how to install Linux and get around Linux at a proficient level, but you'll move from there all the way up to how to administer Linux, set up users and groups, configure the Linux server and different applications, install third-party applications and infrastructure applications, and then test those applications with the clients. So we've got a lot of great things to learn. So with that, let's get started.